This is a summary of Arthur Miller's The Crucible, Act 1 all the way to Act 2, because it's so short that I'm gonna have to combine them too. A little note here, there's this deleted scene from Act 2 that was put into the appendix of this version of the book, but I will not be including it because, well, the author apparently put it out because he didn't like it. Now, back to the story. So it starts off with a bunch of girls, most of them teenagers, one of them black, and they go ahead and they go out dancing. Apparently, according to Paris. So there's this guy named Paris, and he went ahead and he's looking down at his little child, who's a girl, and she was out and dancing with them last night, and her name is Betty. And so she is in the bed, unable to wake up, or is just not waking up on her own accord. Paris is kind of really, really, really intrigued by this, and so he's all like, Betty, Betty, what the heck is happening to you? Wake up, why are you not opening those beautiful eyes? And so, of course, he is starting to get a little bit worried. He sends one of his other people, one of his former suitors. And then there's this woman named Susanna Walcott. And Susanna Walcott went ahead and she's come back from the doctor. And the doctor says that, okay, he's not in town, but then again, there is no such thing like this as well, too. The doctor went ahead and went off to Ruth's place as well, too, because apparently she is also in that kind of big, deep sleep singy. And so, of course, Paris is kind of a bit irritated by all this. And he went ahead and decided to try something that he has never, ever done before. Go ahead and get Proctor. So Proctor is perplexed by all this. By all means, it is true. They are from the 17th century, arguably 16th century, who went ahead and really didn't know what to do anything. So on this 17th century time period, you would probably think of this as witchcraft, which all of them did, except Proctor. He was all like, no, witchcraft. Witchcraft doesn't exist. Bogus. And all of this eventually wakes up Betty. So all the men leave the room. The girls from the previous night before, who were dancing, which they revealed they were actually trying to do witchcraft, went ahead and started discussing with each other on what they should do. They also find Betty, poor Betty there, and they're like, alright, wake her up. She can't. Wake up her. Or I'll wake her up. Alright. And then Betty suddenly starts waking up. Mainly because there was this little musical tune, and that musical tune had the words Jesus in it. And at the words of Jesus, she wakes up. So everyone suspects that she cannot bear to hear the name of the Lord, and so is possessed by the devil or something. It's not because she wants to be possessed by the devil, it's just that she is possessed by the devil. So they all deem these girls as innocent, and then they're all like, hey, go ahead, you guys ever saw the devil or something? You guys ever saw them or not? Because we think you are, and even if you deny it, we will call you guys devilish people, eh? Got it? And so all the girls realize that they should go ahead and keep up with the lie. And so one of the girls decides to do this. Alright, I was the devil, but he was forcing me to do it, sir. He was forcing me to do it. Not the devil, not me wanting the devil. He was he. Eventually, there's this one girl named Abigail who is actually in love with Proctor. This guy named Proctor, and she is all like, alright, I want to rekindle our relationship. If it wasn't for that dang wife of yours, then we would probably be together. I would probably be your wife. And Proctor's like, no, whatever that, it's over. None of that happened, and that's final. But it did happen. But it didn't happen. But it did happen. Shut up. I will get her out of this equation. And then all the girls who were dancing that last night were all decidedly doing this. Okay, so we will accuse people of the devil, alright? I saw someone with the devil. I saw someone with the devil. I saw someone with the devil. And they all start accusing people that they hate of being with the devil. Proctor, of course, is all like, okay, this is suspicious, but everyone else is starting to believe these little girls, even though they are teenagers and are barely mature enough to actually think of all this. And so they are told to testify in court and ask them who was with the devil, who was with the devil, who was with the devil. And so they all respond with names on people with the devil. Obviously, with all that information in hand, there is a lot of people who start believing them, and they start persecuting these women, and most of them are wives of friends of Proctor. So what they do in the end is that they decide to go ahead with the judge with some evidence saying that there is no evidence that these girls what they're saying is true. Where's your evidence? These girls are sent from God. They have been abolished from the devil, and now they will go ahead and testify them. I believe their every word because they are people who have seen them and are resisting him. How do you know there is this thing? How do you even know a devil exists? Because the Bible says it. What does the Bible say that? Where in the Bible says that that these girls are the pawns of the devil and that they're resisting them? That's from my brain. Okay, but why do you believe your brain? Because it's mine. So, of course, that conversation didn't happen, but I really wish that it really did happen. They do get into an argument over this guy because his wife has been arrested. What happens next is not really, shall I say, appropriate towards the citizens of Salem. They go ahead and brand this guy a wizard. Wonder what's the evil version of a wizard. And then they go ahead with the testifying trials. And so they all decide, alright, sir. They also tell the sir, alright, if these women are innocent, and if they're innocent, you call them if. You're saying they're guilty. They are innocent. No doubt about it. Sir, if they are innocent, well, then we will let them go. Let God's hand do that. If. It's not if, it's yes, they are innocent. Of course, that doesn't really work well with them, and so he is sent out of the court. The next day, Elizabeth, Proctor's wife, goes ahead and tells him about these things, about her worries, that she doesn't really want to do any of this. And then that she might actually be told out by Abigail because, well, that little girl wants to be his wife. And so he's like, that's not going to happen. And then suddenly a police officer comes in and says that, alright, I have this warrant to arrest an Elizabeth. What? You are not taking away my wife. Sir, it is, this warrant says I must. No, you will not. And they are all like, what charges? So do you have this doll? Yeah. Why is there a needle in it? Well, that's supposed to be witchcraft. So there was a woman who basically had a needle stabbed 2 centimeters deep into her stomach. And she goes ahead and charges you. Who? Abigail. What? And so, of course, that happens. Next thing that does is that they ask the creator of the doll, and there's like, but I just created it out of wanting. I just gave it to her as a gift. Afterwards, of course, Elizabeth is still arrested. Proctor decides he's not going to deal with this today, and he rips up the warrant. And the guy is kind of mad, saying, "You just ripped up the governor's warrant." Well, go to hell with the governor. Oof, that doesn't sound right. And then Elizabeth says, I'm just gonna go with them because I think this is the best thing I can do, John. And so John Proctor's like, fine, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll defend you tomorrow. See you. And then Elizabeth is taken away in handcuffs by the guy who we just saw earlier. And that is the end of the summary of Act 1 and Act 2. I really hope you guys actually did enjoy that part of Alfred Miller's The Crucible. I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, Shana, peace. Bye-bye.